So firstly you'll need to grease your sandwich tin and preheat an oven to 190, and then we're going to move on to the pastry. So we want 60 grams of block butter weighed in a mixing bowl, followed by 120 grams of plain flour. So that's a ratio of 1 part fat to 2 parts flour. Then we're going to rub the butter into the flour using our fingertips, and what we're aiming to do here is actually coat every piece of flour with a very thin layer of fat, and what that does is it prevents gluten from being formed when the liquid is added to the dough later. So you need to keep going with this until there is absolutely no lumps in the mixture. So you'll be able to tell this by just giving the bowl a little shake, and if there are any lumps left, you'll see them rise to the top. If you do see lumps, just carry on for a little bit longer. Next we're going to add the water. Now it's really important that the water is as cold as possible, and also that you are adding it using a tablespoon. We're going to stir the mixture using a table knife, and what we're looking for is a damp texture. So we can test the mixture by just squeezing part of the mixture to see if it starts to clump. If it doesn't clump readily, then we need a little bit more water, so this time we just add 1 tablespoon and mix again. You'll see a small amount of water makes quite a big difference to the texture of the dough. So what we're aiming to do is add just enough water to bring it together into a soft but not sticky dough. So the test would be that the dough is not sticky and we can leave the bowl clean, it's not crumbling apart. So we need to shape the dough into a round, so a flat circle. If you have time, you're going to wrap the dough and you are going to chill it in the fridge, and this will just give time for the dough to relax, which means any gluten that's been formed relaxes and it's easier to roll out. But if you don't have time, you can just roll it straight away. So what we want to do is keep nice even strokes with the rolling pin. We've got the dough on a floured surface, and each time we roll it we're going to rotate the dough. We want to keep the pressure on the rolling pin as even as possible, and we're just making short, even strokes backwards and forwards, and we're aiming to get a nice circle that's 3 to 4 millimeters thick. So every time we roll it, we must rotate the dough so that it grows in an even shape. And then what we need to do is just check whether the dough is big enough. Obviously if it isn't, just roll it slightly bigger. So if we want to have sides and a lip, it must be bigger than the tin that we are filling. Now, the dough itself can be quite delicate, so it's important that we don't just lift it because we will rip it. So roll it over your rolling pin and then unroll it over the dish that you've greased. The strips of pastry that are hanging out will help you to lift it later. Now you don't want to push it, what you want to do is lift the edges and allow the weight of the pastry itself to pull it down to the base of the tin. So what you can see is now it's all even in the corners. We're just going to fold the pastry over, and where we have that little crease we're just going to press it down to join it up so it seals along the lip. Now it's very important that we use a table knife for this, not a sharp knife. And what we're going to do is to just carefully trim off the excess pastry. We're always cutting in a downward motion with the knife at a vertical to 45-degree angle at a maximum. So we keep rotating the dish, and if we have got any of these excess pastry bits, what we can do is if you've got any cracks in the base of your pastry, you can use them to fix it. There's 3 different ways to style the edges. So the first one is the thumbprint, the second one is the fork print, and the third one is the classic pinch and push method, which will give you this nice sort of sun ray effect. So once we've filled the case, we need to then prick the base lightly with a fork just to help it cook evenly. Use the paper that you had your pastry wrapped in and pop the trimmings in. and then it's going to get blind baked. This will help your pastry to be much crisper on the bottom, and it will take about 15 minutes. So we're going to prepare the filling. That involves grating cheese. Use the large side of the box grater, and you're going to grate up 100 grams of cheddar cheese. Next, we're going to peel and finely slice a nice small onion. So it's up to you whether you want to do rounds or whether you wanted to do small pieces like dice. It's entirely your choice. We also need to prepare the liquid, so 60 ml of milk or cream into a jug, and then crack in your 3 eggs and season the mixture with salt and pepper. Now, once it's all together, you need to use a fork to combine the mixture. And then after about 15-ish minutes, you can remove the pastry from the oven. Take away any trimmings and paper, and then fill the base with cheese and the onion. So I've done it in one layer here, but you could do alternating layers of cheese and onion, so that there's onion throughout the quiche. It's up to you. Once you have got the filling, the solid filling ingredients, we're then going to add the liquid. But you have to be careful here that the liquid doesn't overflow the side, so you might need to pour it slowly to make sure that it doesn't overflow. And then it's going to get popped into the oven for a period of about 20 to 25 minutes, and that needs to be done until the filling is set and the pastry is golden.